Hey, it's Donny Walker here. I'm normally here in the morning, eh? See that coffee in my hand. Don't have a Starbucks tonight. It's just after 5 o'clock, and I'm gonna put this jonsered together and show you some more stuff on it. The 80cc one. I was just out at Buckins actually. That's why I'm a little dirty. Got some sawdust on me from a fir there. He just fell in his yard. So I was bucking with the 592 that I gave him the other day to try out with just a muffler mod, and a 585 with just a muffler mod. It was brand new. It's the first tank through it. Really enjoyed them. Both were great. The 92 definitely has more power, but a real low end power. It pulls very hard. It's pretty hard to stall it. 585 is a little less bottom end, but the rev's nice. It's super smooth on the hands. Just a nice running saw. Idle's good, starts easy. First pull it started on after I primed it, had the choke on. And the second one was after I took the choke off, it started. So that's pretty good. If you use the primer right, they start super easy. Some guys just don't seem to want to push the bulb enough time. You got to push it about 10 times, put that choke up, the red lever, let it fire, down one, fire it again, let it warm up a bit, and away you go. Oh, we got a guest appearance tonight. Hey, it's Branch.
Branch.
This is our shop dog, Branch, Johnny's dog. Yeah, what a name, eh? Branch. Last one was Yogi. Oh no. Coda and Yogi. Before that, we had Timber, my Alaskan Malamute Husky. Wolf.
So you're gonna come up in a minute. Kenny's coming over.
Yep.
Mom passed away yesterday, so
Yeah, bummer.
yeah, give him some support.
Okay, see you in a bit. It's my brother Johnny. You guys seen him before? Okay, so yeah, Buckin has bucked up some of that log there. He's gonna run that 585 some more, do maybe a falling job with it, and then I'm gonna walkerize both of them, and then we're gonna test run them again. I should have them done in about a week or something here. I'm really busy with other builds, but I'm just playing around with them too. I've already modified some of them. My one customer I talked to yesterday who has the 585, the first one I did, just loves it. Super smooth, good on gas, great power, more power than the 390s. Yeah, it's turned out pretty good. So let's get into this old jonsered. I had the cylinder off. I told you guys about that before. I was comparing it to that old go-kart racing engine, eh? So, piston, hardly any carbon, just a little film on here. I'm not even going to clean it. I'm leaving this thing all original. It just doesn't have any time on it. It's in such good shape. You look down in the crank here and stuff. It's just beautiful, man. Yeah, this thing has only a few tanks through it for sure. So I cleaned off my gasket surface for the cylinder base there, and I left that little thin gasket on the cylinder that they come with. It's only probably a 5 thou gasket. These paper ones. Sometimes these old paper ones, like on some stills, like old 026s and stuff, or other Huskies would leak in the sides here. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this just because. Then I'm going to install it back on there. Then we're going to check it for spark. Then I'm going to show you the points underneath the flywheel here. It has an Italian ignition system with points and condenser. They're made by Pagani. I think Pagani's like made scooter stuff and all sorts of stuff for Italian type engines and stuff. Kind of neat because yeah, that other cylinder I showed you was Italian and this was made in Sweden, right? So yeah, 1970, 1980, this one was built in Sweden, jonsered, Partille, Sweden. Yep, 80cc. So hey, let's get into putting it on. Oh, I also got a friend of mine brought by a 480 CD, which is made from 1978 to 81, 77 cc's. So it's real similar to this saw, actually. You know, it was made in this one was made before it for sure. It's the 480 CD Husky, but wait till you see that thing. It's like primo shape too. It's an old friend of mine's dad. His dad can't run it anymore. He unfortunately got aged on a little bit, like us all. But he has some good years with it. I've been servicing it for him for many years because he's a community friend of mine. Okay, so I've got my cylinder ready. I just blew it off, checked things over. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's in perfect shape. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this gasket. Then I'm going to get my cylinder bolts and put them on there and torque this cylinder down. So when you're doing a saw, especially an older one, really check it out good. Visually look for any old cracks or, you know, bearing wear. Check the crank doesn't move up and down on each side. You know, this one we know is primo, but I'll get into another old one where I can kind of show you that stuff. So I've cleaned the surface for the cylinder off. Piston's still on there. The 2 thick rings on these with a slightly domed piston, 32 squish on it. Pretty darn good. I think this is probably a ripper motor. I never measured the port timing. No need to really, but I think it's a pretty hot saw, you know. Yeah, it's just a nice design. So basic. Okay, so let's get this glued up. Hope everyone's doing good out there. Little warmer today. There was a little bit of mist of rain today, but not much. Not like the day before. Like I said, to a couple fallers there in the last couple days. I'm like, yeah, it's rainy season. Buy some fuel filters, boys. Put them in. They'll get clogged up pretty quick with all this rain, and when they're fueling up and stuff. You know, when they stop and fuel up, a lot of times they'll get rain from the gas cap and whatnot. And just the moisture all around. When it rains here. That's why we call it the wet coast. Okay, so I'm just using some of the Moto Seal gasket maker that I use on all my cylinder gasket deletes or my case halves, or if I need to glue up gaskets in certain spots. Just a thin coat of this is all you need right now. This, when you coat it on a bit thick, or just, you know, a good healthy portion, will give you about 2/1000 clearance. That's what they say. I should do that one day. Just put it on with nothing on and then do it, and just check that out, eh? But I don't know, something else to do that I probably don't have time to do, but it'd be cool. Okay, so another thing I like to do when you take old saws apart, or any saws apart, is, you know, make sure if you're not very familiar with saws, if you're just a casual builder or just learning, you know, make sure you know where all the bolts are going to go. I suggest what you do is, when you take it apart, is take little Ziploc sandwich bags and put, like, you know, all your cylinder bolts in one, exhaust bolts in one, starter bolts in one, and mark the bags. You know, clean the heads of the screws up, Allen heads. You just want to clean the sawdust out of them out. Sawdust out of the heads. I use a little, like a dental pick here. Remember, my daughter works at a dental place. Clean the head out, blow it out, have it ready to go. Lay all your fasteners down here. Like right now, I got all the cylinder bolts right there, my muffler bolts, my starter bolts, and there's my choke arm. Me with regular size, like, you know, newer 72s and all the ones I build, you know, I know exactly where every nut and bolts goes. I just throw them in a box and I put it together, eh? But it's just nice to do it this way if you're not too familiar with it. So now I got my glue on my cylinder, just a nice light coat. We're going to get the screws and put them into the head. These have little flat washers on them too, just like old 2100s had, and some other models of Husky. Okay, and this uses the 3/16 driver, Allen driver. I have these long ones made, or not made. I buy them from Snap-on. They're the best. You know, I just had a couple Snap-on screwdrivers fixed yesterday because, you know, they're my tools, man. They're like something I use every day. I just love the comfort of them, the warranty. You know, I just got 2 new blades put on them, and now they're just perfect blades again. No charge. So I buy these long ones. That's 3/16. Fits old Huskies and these old jonsereds. Then I have 6mm, 5mm, 4mm, and 3mm. In that length too, so you can get down in these cylinders, right? Super good tools to use. If you don't have that, you're gonna have to use the basic old Allen wrench. and it's hard to get the long ones. You can buy those cheap sets of cheaper Allen T's. This is a good Echo one, but you can buy those cheaper sets. So I got all the bolts on the cylinder. That's all ready to go. Let's put a little bit of oil in that piston and find our ring compressor. You can buy ring compressor sets for all different bore sizes of cylinders and saws. So up here I got a few of them, eh? So let's pick the bigger one I got here. I should have a bigger one around here. There's a big one here I think I used for 3120s. No, this one will work. Okay, so oiled up, inside's clean. Make sure there's nothing in there. Line your rings up, you know, with the locating pins on the piston. So there's my bottom one lined up. There's my top one. These ones are on the intake side, whereas some ring locator pins can be on the corner of the exhaust port, or you know, just around the other side of the piston. Just make sure when you're porting, though, if you are porting, make sure you don't widen those ports too much to that area, or the ring will catch in the port. So simply get this clamp, put it over the rings, squeeze it, and just make sure the rings are right in on the piston. Have it sitting down about 1/8 inch from the top of the piston so you can slide the cylinder on easy. Simply hold it like this, take the cylinder in your hand, get it on top of the piston, so it's over the crown. Okay, and I just go underneath with my other finger in my hand, push down with my thumb, on. Okay, take the ring compressor off, and just make sure nothing's in the way, and you line up your holes in your intake piece here properly. They all have an intake manifold on it. This one's got it on it, so we got it. Just gonna let it go down slowly, just so the bolts are kind of in the holes there. Okay, there they are. Take my Allen wrench. Just starting them up. A couple threads into it on each of them, so it's all lined up. Yeah, just try not to get the glue all over your hands. Come on, bolt. Where are you? There we go. Okay. So yeah, I was out at Buckets. We were talking about these 80cc saws, and we'll have quite a group of the 80cc ones when we go run them. It'll be a lot of fun. Won't be soon, but we'll get to it after I do a few more of these builds and gather up a few more different models and different manufacturers. Okay, let's get this bolts down a little better now. Always the handlebars in the way. I was going to take it off, but now do it like this. I usually have an impact here, but a lot of times some stuff I don't like to use the impact on unless you're really sure what you're doing. You don't want to cross thread something or strip something. This doesn't take that long. Okay, once you get a couple bolts in, just turn it, make sure everything's free. And make sure the ring didn't catch in a port or something. Seems to be okay. Okay, we're going to torque down, then I'm going to show you guys the ignition. We're going to check it for spark. These got an unusual coil in the top cover, which normally the coil's on the side of the flywheel or under the flywheel. Okay, just a good hand tight the way I do it. My wrist clicks at about 120 inch-pounds. Haha, kidding. I think my brother and his friend are outside watching me. I don't care. I'm not shy, as you know. Okay, so we got that torqued down. Spin it over nice. All right. I'll show you something else too that you should check when after you install a cylinder and your intakes on it. Check to make sure your pulsation hole didn't get clogged up with that glue, or that this gasket in this hole isn't aligned properly with the crankcase. The way you can test that is simply find out where the hole is, right there on the manifold. You see it down there, right there. Put a little oil on it. Turn this thing. Look at that. Let's push the oil out, right? You know it's going to work. The vacuum's going to work. The pulse is going to work for that. Okay, so let's get that cleaned up. Okay. Let's get our flywheel off. I already had the nut loose, okay? And I had it off once, so I'm going to show you the points and condenser now. Then we're going to put it back together and check the spark. Okay, get you a little closer. Let's see, can you guys see that good? Go down a bit. Okay. All right. This has got 3 holes in it for a puller, but I didn't have the right one here. I thought this old one, Comer one, might fit, but it doesn't. But I did get it off by putting the nut even with the crankshaft and then giving it a smack. So the way you can do these, if you don't have the puller, is you can get lucky sometimes, and I did. So I'll show you how I do it. You get the nut loose, of course. Let's get our 17 mil driver. Yeah. All metric. Oh, those poles here. Get them out of the way. Yeah. Yeah, I gathered up a couple more other old saws too. Got a Pioneer 700 coming. Be here in a couple days. And I'll give you a little show of that one too. Okay, so I put the nut on even with the crank, like right even with it, okay? So now you got some space between the flywheel and the nut because I got the washer off too right now. Simply, you can put a screwdriver, flat blade in behind it at a safe spot. You're not going to break anything. Push down on it, give it some force, and take a nice dead blow hammer. This is a brass one, and give it a smack, and look at that, it just pops right up. Okay, so that's how you do it if you don't have the puller. So let's take the nut off again, and then I can show you the points and condenser in here. Roughly 16 to 18 thousandths gap is what I figured by doing the metric conversion of it. The metric conversion, or the metric, was 0.30 to 0.40 millimeter point gap. There's the ignition. Nice beefy flywheel. Beautifully made. Nice piece. Things like brand new in here. Let's have a good close look at those points. Well, they're shiny. Sometimes they'll be black and gray. Looks pretty good. I don't have some feeler gauges here with me, sorry, but I'm going to turn this thing around, and then we can see where they're opening up. A little hard for you guys probably to see. Sorry. I'm going to get a little flashlight on here myself. Okay, let's turn this sucker. There we go. Yeah, open, close. They're shiny. They should spark. All the wiring looks good. You want to investigate all that. This timing plate, you can actually loosen it and turn it and adjust your timing a tad. I'm going to leave it in the fixed position from the factory. They probably had it around, I think the ignition was 2.7 millimeters before top dead center. Okay, so let's put it back together and we'll see if we got some spark. There is a point cover, but I'll put that back on after in case I need to clean them or adjust them. Okay, let's get that back on. Nut, washer, and then the nut. Flywheel should be tightened pretty good. I use a 3/8 battery powered impact. I had Makita ones, now I got a nice little snap-on. We're just going to hand tight this for now because I'm going to go back in there. Okay, let's get our little starter pawl springs hooked back up. So we got the starter action. Okay, yeah, they're hooked up. Find a couple of starter screws we laid out here. There they are. And there's our starter. I already looked it over, gave it a little bit of lube. Simple system. Okay, just a nice action. Simple. These things never really failed. This type of starters. Okay. Get that on there. Got our trusty 4 mil T-wrench. 2 bolts in, that's all we need. Pull it over. Then we'll hook the top cover up and I'll show you how it works from there. So basically, as you're pulling it over, you're energizing that exciter winding there and the points and condenser, and it's sending the power over to the coil on the cover. So it's got a wire that goes to the coil, then the other wire goes to the switch. Make sure your wire's in good shape, you know. Check it all over. I've already looked this one over. So this one goes up. This one is actually for the from the points, and this will go to the coil. And then the other one is for the switch. Oh, I'm backwards. Sorry. Red one's for the points because it tucks along there really nice, and the black one's for the switch. Okay. Alrighty. So we're just gonna hook that up now. Here's the top cover. You can see how there's the plug lead, sitting out. And it actually has a protective cover that goes over top. Here's a little switch, nice little toggle switch. And there's your coil. There's your spade connector to hook from the points, and then your switch wire is going to go here to the switch. Okay, so let's get this down. Get the red wire hooked up to our magneto or coil, whatever you want to call it. Everyone's got different terminology. Now some of the new ones are called control boxes on the stills. Switch wire. And set it down on here. Should put one screw in case it needs to be grounded a little bit, maybe. Yeah, why not? Just so it holds steady. Move around on us. Okay, and these spark plugs, they don't have the top that screws off that comes loose on plugs, or you can't get them off. They don't even use one on these ones. Okay, so this is a BPMR7A. Yeah, so let's try it for spark. Okay, hopefully it'll spark out on this paint on there, eh? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, nice spark. Nice. Okay. Great. Alrighty, let's get this back off, our wires back off, and then we're going to do a quick fuel system check. How you should deal with your fuel system on any saw or any two-stroke type of unit. You always want to start from the fuel tank, from the fuel filter line, where the fuel filter goes onto the fuel line. Inspect it, look at it, make sure it's not rotten. Okay, this one looks pretty solid. The fuel filter looks like brand new. I'm just going to test it though, fuel filter. Yeah, it's clear. Okay, I'm leaving it off because I'm going to show you something. Everyone needs a carb. Everyone needs a carb tool. You got to have a carb pump, okay? Here it is here. I just ordered 2 more today on eBay or Amazon. You look up Walbro carb tester, and you can get the Walbro ones that pump up. They're not made by Walbro. They're from China, but there's nothing wrong with them. They're cheap. $35 for the set. You even get carb setting tools with it and some different fittings. So what you want to do is hook up to this fuel line here. Now this, I'm going to need an adapter, and that kit that you can buy online comes with the adapters. For now, I'm just going to put a little piece of pipe between it here. So let me just find something here. Shouldn't be too hard. So what I'm doing is pressurizing that line up to where the line goes to the carburetor. It should hold pressure and not leak. And if it does, then you have some issues with your line leaking, or your car, or obviously the line leaking because we're not hooked to the carburetor. Okay. Nope. There, that'll work. Yep, that'll work. Okay, so just a little spigot off that carburetor. This one together. Put the carb tester to it. Okay. There's your line that comes out from the tank. We're going to pump this up. Make sure it holds pressure. And it doesn't. I think my little fitting here is bad. Let's go for something better here. Okay, I need a different carburetor fitting. Gotta be something around this old shock. Old carburetor laying around. Right back. Yeah, I see one, but I don't want to wreck the carburetor. Anyways, let me just show you, okay? You're going to hook your carb tester to your fuel line, and you're going to pump it up, and it should hold pressure by holding the end closed where it goes to the carburetor. If it doesn't hold pressure, then you either got a hole in this line or hole in this line, okay? So you need to fix that stuff, or it's going to lean out on you when you start it up, and it's going to run lean and overheat and seize, okay? So once you determine that your fuel lines are good, put your fuel filter back on, and you can put that back in the tank. Then you want to go through the carburetor system to make sure that the diaphragms are good, the needle isn't leaking, and the proper adjustments to the carburetor are made. I don't really have time tonight to do that. One of the reasons is because I ran out the buckets, and that took a bit of my time up. So I'm just going to finish off talking here in a minute about this saw, then we're going to then I'm going to head out there, guys. So yeah, so I'll do the fuel system next. We'll go over the HS carburetor again, which I've gone over before on some videos, but I'm going to show you again on this one. There's not a governor on this one, but this thing's like, yeah, brand new. Then I'll show you the intake, how all the intake lines up, and how to set the needle height on this, and just make sure that it's going to be decent to run. Okay. Then we're going to put the muffler back on and fire it up. See how she goes. Okay? So yeah, the jonsered 80. Love it, man. Then we'll get on to those other ones I showed you. That old Remington, that other old Husky. I might have a Dalmar soon too. A guy was talking about sending me an 80cc version. I forget the model number of it. Anyways, I've gone on enough. I know a lot of people don't like long videos, but thanks for watching tonight. Bummer Canada lost the soccer game there. See how they do in the next game, eh? They won one, lost one. Keep your saw on the wood, sticking the ice, revving the road. Happy building. If you guys need anything you want me to show you on a video that you need to know something about, let me know in the comments, and I'll do a video for that. What you want to know. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go up and see my brother, and a friend of mine's up there that his poor mother just passed away. So I go give him a hug. Okay. Hug your neighbor, hug your friend, be kind to everyone. Have a good night. Check out the walkersawshop.com online store, and I'll be back to do some more old saw stuff in the next night or two. Thanks a lot. Bye.